If you followed the channel in the last few days, one of the videos I put out was a top 5 tips for new players. Now one of the tips within that video was around the Alliance Enhancement system, and really I was suggesting that when this system unlocks you want to resist the temptation to go in and start unlocking nodes. Now the reason for that is that you cannot respec with this particular system, so when you unlock a node, that's it, you can't go back on it. A lot of the nodes as well won't actually be relevant depending on the characters you choose to play, and some of the nodes just simply aren't that good value either. So for that reason, what I've done today, I've spent a fair bit of time looking through the 7 different nodes that are available. They correspond to all the stat types, and then we have a standard node in the middle. But what I've done is I've punched all the information from these into a spreadsheet, I've added them all up, and I've had a look at the best upgrades you can actually get. So in this video, what we'll be doing is we'll run through each of the 7 different cores that are available to upgrade, and I'll highlight the best nodes within them. Now by the best nodes, classifying that as ones that aren't situational. So for example, there's a lot of nodes that may give you a bonus when you drop below 25% health, but for a large amount of playtime that won't actually be active for you. Also with this as well, I've tried to go for universal upgrades because a lot of characters, looking at their kit, they'll have mixtures when it comes to their actual damage types. So as an example, recently unlocked Magneto was exceptionally hyped, looked at his skills, 2 of his skills are classed as energy and 2 of them are bizarrely classed as melee. Now looking at other characters, a lot of them fall into the same boat where they've got a mixture of tags in regards to their damage type, so that means you want to get universal damage upgrades if you can. So we'll run through all the different nodes, point out the best upgrades. Once I've done that, I'll do a quick summary. Now the first node we'll start off with will be the central one. So with each of the nodes, you actually have 3 different sections to them essentially. You've got the universal bonus you get when you complete that particular node. In this instance, once you complete all the nodes, that would include all 7 of them, then you unlock a 4th ISO 8 slot, which will be exceptionally powerful. You also have a lot of stats within these particular nodes. Now I wouldn't specifically go out my way to get these, but I would say that if you're looking for a specialist node, you're going to save on your currency by going through the stat nodes to get there, because they are a lot cheaper than the specialist nodes. The specialist ones are down the bottom here in white, so I'll quickly run through them. If you see the 3 little stars to the right of the description, that means I would upgrade that one. So the first one we have is increase the rate abilities restore the extreme gauge by 3%. Extreme attacks are exceptionally important, and they're the way you really burn down bosses and just absolutely smash your way through levels, so the quicker you can get this up the better. You then have reduced damage taken whilst guarding by 2.5%. I don't actually use the guard feature at all. I'm not sure if I should be, but I prefer to just roll out the wave attacks. You've then got decreased damage taken from enemy attacks by 1%. That's another one I wouldn't upgrade at all. And then increased damage to stunned enemies by 3%. So the only one that I would say is really vital there, although you have to go through all these to open their gems, but the one that's really important is increasing the rate abilities restore the extreme gauge. So that's a central gem. The next one we'll look at will be the vitality gem. So this gem here is one that I wouldn't upgrade straight away, but it certainly does have some pretty nice bonuses within it. Now if we start off here, you can see the bonus for completing all the nodes is every 10 seconds you recover 1% hit point per downed ally. That's too situational, I don't really put much value in that. If we look at the defensive situational nodes, you've then got the recovers 9% of extreme gauge damage done as hit points. That's definitely got the stars next to that. That's incredible, and in some testing that I've done, I've been able to get a hero with almost 0 health all the way back up to full if you can fire off your extreme attack at the right time, so this is absolutely awesome. Next up, you have increased hit point recovery by 2% every 5 seconds or under 25% hit points. Too situational, to be honest, that one. And then you've got gain 1% hit point recovery every 10 seconds, and that will be active all the time. So that's a definite upgrade you want to go for. It's towards the end of the tree, so it will cost more, it'll take longer to get to, but it's an absolutely awesome upgrade. It essentially makes everyone like Deadpool or Wolverine with passive health regen, and I suppose it will stack on those characters and make them even more durable. If you look at the offensive options you have, you can increase light attack damage by 3%, increase heavy attack damage by 6%. I've marked both of these because they will apply to all attacks you're actually using. They won't apply to abilities, but they will apply to when you're pressing the Y or the X button to do your attacks, and you will be doing that often. Final three we have here are increasing damage of different attributes. So that could be ice, shock or melee. It's decent amounts to increase them by, but these won't apply to all characters, so that's the reason I would say ignore them. Of course, if you're building a team that's all built around 4-shot characters, then go for it, but by and large people won't be doing that. So that's why I went for the light and heavy attacks there, and we went for the additional hit points as well. So overall, it is a pretty nice node. Let's check out the next one we've got. This next gem is one of my favourites, and it's one that I'm trying to max out at the moment. So this is a strength gem. When you max this particular one out, you increase the crit hit chance of basic attacks by 10%, so that'll be your light and heavy attacks, so that's pretty amazing. If you look at the defensive options available, you can recover 6% of extreme gauge damage as hit points. We already mentioned that in the last gem. This is an awesome one, and if you add both of these together, you could get up to 15% of your health back, but I don't even know if you need to stack it as high as that, to be honest. If you look at the offensive options, there's quite a lot here you would use. You've got the ability to increase all damage by 3%, so that's great, applying to all attacks. You've then got the increasing light and heavy attack damage by 3%. The next few we would skip, they're only applying to stunned, projectile, piercing attacks. We're back to boosting heavy and light attacks, so I would say they're worthwhile doing. It's 3% for each of them. We then have increased damage of melee attacks by 3%, not worth going for. The final three we look at here are all about increasing the extreme gauge rate. Now there's different ways you can do it. You can do it via synergy attacks, you can do it when your health drops below 25%, or you can do it via abilities. Now abilities are the one that you will be using most often. You won't always be below 25% health. Your synergy attacks can sometimes be a little bit difficult to use if there's no characters nearby, or if you're the only character actually left. So for that reason, the one I would say you want to actually hone in on would be the one where you increase it from using abilities, and that's a 5% boost you get to it, so that is pretty decent. So overall, pretty awesome gem. The final bonus on it, the 10% crit hit chance on basic attacks, is really pretty amazing, so it's worthwhile maxing out everything on this in time. Now let's have a look at the next gem. This one is the resilience gem. So this next gem here is exceptionally weak, and sadly I don't have any options I would actually say are worthwhile in it, so I'll very quickly go over it. The bonus you have for completing all of it, which is not worthwhile, you decrease damage by 3% per downed ally. So if you were the last character, you would get 9% less damage, which is decent, but again it's very situational. Now if we look at all the defensive options, it's all about decreasing defense from various different attributes. It could be ice, fire, shock, ethereal, so it's not a set damage type, so that's why I believe they're not worthwhile. You do have one that looks like it could be interesting, that's increased number of attacks enemy makes in order to inflict a status effect on you, so it makes you less resistant to crowd control. However, the big problem I have in the game is not really crowd control, it's enemies actually knocking me down more than that. If there was a way to potentially stop the knockdown, then I would say it's worthwhile, but I wouldn't say it's worthwhile for this. Finally, you have the offensive options. They're only boosting ice, shock and fire, they're not universal. So again, as mentioned, sadly for the resilience gem, I don't have any upgrades that I feel are worthwhile. The next gem we have here is the Mastery gem. This is one that's for your magic and energy based characters. Now if you're to complete all the nodes in this particular one, it would increase damage to your stagger gauge by 7%. Staggering bosses and elites is exceptionally important, so this is one that I would say you want to max out in time, but I wouldn't say it's a priority over some of the other gems. Now if we look at the upgrades available, defensive wise, the decrease in damage is all from different attributes. It's ice, shock or fire. It's not a flat bonus, so I would say they aren't really worthwhile going for straight away. When we look at the offensive increases you can get, a lot of the damage, again it's for specific damage types, so it could be ethereal, energy, ice or shock, so I would avoid all them. When we look at the flat damage bonuses, you can actually gain 5% synergy attack damage, you can gain 3% ability damage, so I would say they are worthwhile, and also you can increase the damage done to the stagger gauge by an additional 3%, so maxed out this would take it up to 10%, which would definitely be worthwhile. The last few upgrades here are about increasing the crit hit chance of ability attribute attacks, so that is attacks that would have, for example, fire, ice or lightning on them. It won't apply to a huge amount of characters, so I would say although it's additional crit chance, it's not worthwhile. And then finally you've got the ability to increase the duration of elemental charge buffs by up to 2 seconds. Depending on the team you use, this could be pretty nice, but again it is quite situational this here. So that's upgrades I would recommend for the mastery gem. So let's check out the next one. So this next gem here, its durability, I would say it does fall on the weaker side, but it has some pretty nice upgrades towards the end. Now, the main upgrade you get if you complete the gem adds a 7% chance to stun staggered enemies. Now, when an enemy's actually staggered, all you need to do is use a synergy attack. You can do that by pressing ZR and using one of your attacks if you have an ally nearby that's got a compatible damage type, or you can use an extreme attack. This, I presume, would actually maybe add it onto your basics. Pretty low chance, and given you can use a synergy or extreme attack instead, I wouldn't say it's worthwhile actually hunting this one down. Now, when we look at the defensive options, it is stacked towards that because it is the durability gem. We have a ton of options that reduce damage, but it's all for different types, and I don't feel they're worthwhile. What it does have later on, and I would say it's worthwhile seeking out, is increased damage resistance by 3% to all attacks. Now that is pretty nice there. You've got quite a few more options that are situational. When you drop below 25% health, as mentioned earlier on in the video, I don't put a great deal of value in them. Finally, offensive options, and some of these are really pretty amazing. So the two that I've highlighted here is increase the rate synergy attacks fill extreme gauge by 5% and increase the rate abilities restore the extreme gauge by 3%. So you could get up to 8% there depending on the different attacks you're doing at times. Now this would tie in exceptionally well with the bonus we looked at earlier where you can get hit points back. I think it was up to 15% when you're using your extreme attacks. So this allows you to fire off your extreme attacks more often, and other upgrades we talked about allow you to actually get health back from them as well. So that's an amazing combination to look out for there. So that's the durability gem. Let's check out the final one. This is a nice one. This is the energy gem. So this gem is another one that I've started to invest in quite heavily already. The main reason for it is the bonus you get for completing it. You can increase XP gained by 10%. Now we know we're going to be getting a lot more characters coming to the game in time, so that additional 10% XP boost will be great for leveling them up, and it'll be great for leveling up the rest of the roster. And as you level up characters, you get enhancement points, which means you can actually get more upgrades. So this is definitely worth going for. I would also say that in regards to the stats, the additional 1000 energy is actually a decent amount. At end game, it will probably work out about an additional 5% energy for characters, so I would say it's worthwhile trying to go for those nodes. If we look at the specialised nodes here, we start off with the defensive ones. They're all really on the weaker side because it's set damage types they actually reduce the damage from. But at the bottom of this list, you've got an awesome upgrade and increasing the number of times you can revive allies by 1. I believe it's actually 3 times you can do it until you get to shield point and it refreshes it, so that additional option to revive an ally can be really useful. Now offensively this gem does really well. Upgrades you want to keep an eye out for, you get one that increases energy point regen by 3%, you can increase light attack damage by 3%, you can increase the rate basic attacks restore the extreme gauge by 5%. We've talked already why getting that extreme gauge filled out is very important. Really nice here, you've got an up to 15% attack increase for extreme attacks, so you can get your health back, you can get them quicker, and you can actually do more damage with them using the suggestions in this video, which is a pretty awesome combo. Now finishing up here, the final one we have is increase the rate extreme gauge fills by 5% overall. So that's another awesome upgrade. So this is a really good gem here, and it's one of my favourite ones. So with them all covered, what I'll do now is I'll just give you a very quick summary of all the best ones to look out for. So this is the final list of upgrades here. I'm not going to run over them all because I've already provided rationale throughout the video, but I'll say that what it may be worthwhile doing is actually just taking a screenshot on this page, and then that way if you want to refer back to a later date you can do that. Now you can see that not all gems are equal. There's ones that I would definitely recommend more than others, and that's specifically the strength and energy gem, and they're 2 gems that I'm trying to complete myself as soon as possible. Now I've already mentioned it earlier on in the video, but when you're going through the gems and trying to find your specialised nodes, you want to avoid the specialised nodes that you don't actually want, because the cost of them can be a lot more expensive than the stat nodes. So try and use the stat nodes to actually travel around the gems to pick up the upgrades that you are looking for. But that's the best upgrades for that Alliance Enhancement system. I hope this video has been helpful. If it's the first time you've actually came across the channel and you're enjoying the content, there'll be a lot more to come, so make sure to hit the subscribe button. Feel free to hit the like button, leave a comment below because it helps drive the recommendations for videos, and thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon.